Hello, everyone. I have another new guest today, and he is a very interesting and in terms of his business and creative thought and creative activities. Hopefully, our audience will enjoy that how he actually contributing with science and technology. He is Mr. Dunstan, and he is from Singapore. Hello,
Hi,
Mr. Dunstan. How are you?
hi, hi, hi. I'm good.
Yes, yes. So, can you please introduce yourself, who you are, where you from, what you do, what's your background, and everything with our audience?
Okay, so I'm Dunstan. I'm the chief architect of FIDO Protocol. We are a blockchain technology. I also run a payment gateway called Store. And currently, we just finished part of our funding for our stem cell research center in Malaysia, the only licensed and registered and licensed research center, stem cell research in Malaysia. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, this is the interesting things, but we want to know more about your business, about the like you are giving financial solutions, and you said that you want to discuss about the inside of the financial industry and the banking industry. So, can you please share with us?
Okay, so I think most of the people doesn't understand how money is created in the first place. We just take it with a pinch of salt that the cash that we use, the fiat that we use is legitimized and that it has a certain value. But this value is created in such a way where, let's say, for example, I want to buy a house and the house costs $500,000. What happens is I myself generate $500,000 worth of credit, worth of debt itself, right? And with that debt, the bank now takes that and then prints out $500,000 worth of cash in that sense. So actually, what we are doing is we are creating debt by things that we want to buy on credit, and then we are using that to change it into fiat, into that cash money that we are used to spending. So that is the current creation of money. So in this case, right, this is a system that is uh, currently fragile. It is a system where if people don't spend, that no new credit or no new debt will be created in this global financial world, and then no new money can be created in that sense. So Sharif, let me ask you about this. If this is the system that's driving the financial world, what do you think? Do you think that this is a stable system? Do you think it is good or what?
No, 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 this is very interesting things because, like, I'm also as a economist or student of economy. I want to say like how actually different banking system run and how actually different kind of system happening, and many actually people actually scamming this system. They're taking too much of money. They're forwarding the money. Many things happening, but we need a sustainable solution. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, like say for instance, right, we take a look at our current COVID times. COVID, a virus that is so small, it's minuscule, but yet this virus has shown the whole world how fragile the current financial system is. Uh, so, for example, right, I give you an example. We take a look at Lebanon. The people
Mhm.
in Lebanon are not allowed to transact more than 200 USD worth of money daily, the normal people. But yet, in that period, right, within that period where the normal people are not allowed to transact, the bankers and the rich people in the country have already transacted billions of dollars out of Lebanon daily.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I mean, if you take a look at this system, right, this is not even an accountable system. So my heart is for the people, and I don't understand why they still agree and want to fall back on such a system. Why do they still agree and why do they still support the current fiat system when this system has a lack of accountability to them?
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Okay. But you have to understand, like, a thousand of years or hundred of years, different countries they're running this system, and people actually used to with this system, and there are many financial transaction and other things happening through this system. But how you want to give them a very good solution and better solutions. And there is another question from Mr. Ankit Khandawal. He said, "Hello, Mr. Dunstan. Can a global fintech companies help in the financial flow post COVID-19 era?" Yeah.
Definitely, actually. So, so to answer that question, right? The global a fintech company, like a company that does that puts finance and tech together, is one of the best companies right now in this current situation. Why? Because everybody have problems with transacting. Yeah, you will see banks shrinking the credit facilities of individuals, but yet they cannot shrink too much because the banks also need people to borrow. If not enough people borrow, the banks will actually go down. So their own ratings will go down. So technically, there's a very fragile balance that's going on. So for any fintech company in the world right now, right, this COVID times is actually the best time. Everybody is stuck at home. All your clients are stuck. They all your potential clients, everyone you can email them, you can cold call them, and this is the best time to expand for fintech organizations. But the biggest problem that most fintech organizations will face is this: they might not have the network, like banks, like Visa, the relationships and so on, to do transactions, especially if the transactions are going to be large. Yeah. So many of these things, financial institute like banks, I call them gatekeepers. Why? Because they will be the one to stop you from transacting, and the regulators will be the ones to actually stop you from having these sort of transactions. So, as a fintech company, they need to. That's their biggest hurdle in that sense. Whether or not they have ties with these entities itself. If not, the best way they can do would be to use blockchain, actually. Because why? Using a blockchain, you can create your own digital assets. Then using that digital asset to transact value over and from one country to another. And that is one of the main reasons why Bitcoin has an asset class came about.
Yes, I understand. Beside that, I just want to know, like, example, you say that for developing different kind of blockchain technology and other things, you need human resources, or I think there are lackings of human resources. Can you explain these things, that what type of human resources actually you required for blockchain technology? What's the inside of the history? What's the opportunity you are observing for the youth community, especially in COVID-19 situation?
Okay, so when it comes to building a blockchain, right, I think even though this industry has been around for 11 years, like, of course, since the creation of Bitcoin would be 11 years ago, but what is important is the fact that most of the people are not actually blockchain developers. What they are is they actually use smart contracts using of certain blockchains, especially Ethereum, to craft their tokens, like transactions and so on. And most of them are actually not skilled in either building their own blockchain protocol, or that they are actually piggybacking on some other protocols, like Ethereum, the Bitcoin network, Tron, Stellar, and so on. So these are major blockchain protocols that people piggyback on. The what I feel is a sad thing in the space is that most of them are actually not skilled at being able to build their own blockchain from ground up. Either they take a copy of something that's open source and and create their own version of it, which usually the end result is not a good it is not a good end result. Usually the thing is easily hacked. Because the developers don't know what they're going on. So the biggest problems that we have right now is the lack of skilled developers in different countries. So this is one of the pain points of our industry, the blockchain industry itself.
Yes. I also want to know, as you are working both in Malaysia and Singapore, how you getting the ecosystem and how you getting support from government or proper support from other things of the from this industry from Singapore and Malaysia.
Okay, so technically, when it comes to our payment gateway and our exchanges, my license is a European license. It's not a Singapore or Malaysian license. So then, of course, then it means that my company has to work very closely with regulators in Europe to get our stuff in line, to make sure that we fulfill AML, KYC, like procedures. So we are regulated like any other financial institute when it comes to my payment gateway and exchanges. But however, when it comes to the stem cell research center that we have, it's more on working with the governments actually. Say the government of China, the government of Malaysia, because this is the medical field is also highly regulated. And because our research is cutting edge, so the government is more open in working together with us. Then of course resources that's needed obviously will be funding, and also expertise like scientists and doctors who have research on stem cells, while in the blockchain would definitely be coders, and also finance guys who have worked with regulators before. So these are the two separate stuff.
Okay, very interesting. Beside that, I want to know, let's say in Singapore, this is actually a financial hub, like many bank and many financial institution actually in Singapore. So my question is that, like, as it is a financial hub, and most importantly, many banks and other things in Singapore. So how actually they are cope up with this blockchain technology, or they are adapting this kind of technology, or what the inside history of this industry?
Okay, so at first the banks, the financial institutes were treated us like an enemy in a sense,
Okay,
because
okay.
blockchain is actually meant to disrupt the middlemen, the agents, the brokers itself, the bankers. It's. I mean, with Bitcoin, right? You don't even need a bank. All you need is one person with a Bitcoin wallet and another one with a Bitcoin wallet, and you can just start transacting value between one another. So there is no need of a bank in this system. However, they found out that even their own system is currently getting antiquated, and that there's a new need to upgrade in tech. So, but of course, so instead of using Bitcoin, they would be using their own currencies, their own stable currencies, or even their central bank digital currencies that are currently in vogue right now. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But how these competitions and other things, you think that it can be solvable? Because the big banks and the financial institutions, they think that you are making some challenges, as well as how actually government create a better ecosystem for you. What's going on? Yeah.
Okay. So this is also based on belief systems. For example, for us that actually believe in Bitcoin, those people actually call us Bitcoin maximalists. So for us, we actually believe that there's no need for banks and financial institutes. In fact, this is what Bitcoin was made to do. However, people then of course when the common men come in and they start transacting and so on, they sort of need something that they are used to, like they are used to the old They are used to fiat, they are used to like USD, they are used to SGD and so on, right? They are used to all the currencies that so they start thinking of value in terms of this. For example, Bitcoin value is thought in terms of USD most of the time. Like one Bitcoin, how much is it worth, and so on. But there's another belief system that's involved. There are two sort of systems. One is a system where Bitcoin is transacted in like USD value and or SGD fiat value. The other system is where people choose to totally opt out and transact only using Bitcoin and not bothered with the like the fiat value of the cryptocurrency. Like I give you an example. For example, there are people in Lebanon or even in Venezuela. Their currency has already tanked to almost nothing. The value of their currency, right? I have friends that were Venezuela millionaires, and millionaires as in USD dollar millionaires. We are not talking about their Venezuelan money and so on. But yet, these friends, within a day, the bank just told them that, you are bankrupt. Whatever you have spent 30 years of your life building, all the value that you have created is made worthless in an instant. And it's not the fault of these business people. It's the fault of the country, the fault of the banking system, the fault of the Federal Reserves. Now, if it were you, I mean, would you see that it is a fair system, or would you see that this system is totally against you? Now, it doesn't make sense, right? So then, because of that, right, these people are decided to opt out of the system by not transacting even in USD, which is the main transaction currency around the world. They decided to transact using only Bitcoin, and that's it. So they have chosen to opt out of that system. They don't care what's the price of Bitcoin, but what they do is they use it to transact within their ecosystem, their community, to buy and sell goods and services. So in that sense, right, they have decided not to be part of this financial regime.
Yes, yes. One thing I want to know, what's the situation of the consumer, the customers, how they adopting this kind of system? How many people, what do you think that they involve
Are
with
you
this
talking
thing?
about Bitcoin? Or are you talking about blockchain? Because those might be a bit
Yes,
separate.
yes, I know. Let's start with Bitcoin. Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to consumers, right, although it is the most widely adopted cryptocurrency around the world, Bitcoin, but the adoption rate when it comes to transacting is not so high. Yeah, because the tech, based on the tech and based on the network itself, it does take some time for a transaction to go through. So, which is why there's not many people are using it for transacting like in micro amounts. But usually, Bitcoin is being used to transact larger amounts of value, and most of the time, most of the people are actually doing trading. They're buying and selling of other cryptocurrencies using Bitcoin and swapping it back to Bitcoin again. So that's for Bitcoin. But when it comes to blockchain tech itself, even the banks are starting to use blockchain tech. It's not just for financial products. It's also used in supply chains. It's also used in digital identities, collectibles, and so on. So there are many technological use of the blockchain tech itself. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. This is very good that we are improving different kind of technology and other things. Besides that, with Bitcoin and other things, many people also losing money. What do you think? Many
Yeah,
people
of course.
also facing lot of challenges and other things. So, what the solution you are thinking that? What will be
Uh,
the best way to serve the community?
Okay, so if the community is thinking of using Bitcoin to like has an investment vehicle and using it to like like hoping to earn out of it, the only way for them generally to do that is really to keep the Bitcoin for maybe say a year or so or even 2 or 3 years, and the fiat value of Bitcoin to their currency generally increases. So like only 8% of the whole Bitcoin value, right? Only 8% were people in losses. So
Okay.
the chances of losing is actually extremely low if they hold it for a period of time. But of course, if they buy it and they want to sell it like maybe the next 2 3 days or something like that, then that's technically to me not investing already. It's actually gambling. Yeah. So and also people also need to learn a bit about the tech and how to protect themselves, where to store their Bitcoin and so on. Like for me, I don't believe in storing my Bitcoin in the exchanges because Bitcoin has this thing called private key. So when I store it in an exchange, I'm not using my private key. I'm not using like the private key to my own house. I'm using somebody else's, and that Bitcoin actually belongs to them and not to me in that sense. So yeah, so I would rather store it myself, and if I store it, I will store it in a cold wallet itself, like a Ledger Nano, and there's a hardware device that you can store it. It's actually not that tough to use. Yeah, and there are many videos nowadays online that people can watch, especially the videos that are found in the website of the specific hardware wallet that they use, and they can actually go through those videos. It's not tough. Yeah.
Okay, but my question is that what's the like in present pandemic situation, like many people losing their job, many negative thing happening, economical situation has lot more challenges. So how the economy and the financial organization they actually getting benefit through your ideology, through your business, through your solution?
Okay, so in this current situation, right, this messed up financial times, we have seen the fragile nature of the financial ecosystem, the fragile nature even of supply chains. For example, right, like like ships are not even allowed to enter the docks and so on for certain countries. Now, so we are in a very interesting time, and I believe that this is the best time to change the mindset of people. So those of us in the blockchain space, we want the people to understand that blockchain is here to stay, and especially Bitcoin is here to stay, and that they should be using that as a store of value, in that sense. So they should be using Bitcoin to rather than keep it in their currency, rather than keep it in gold, stocks and shares, or even in property, they should be acquiring some level of Bitcoin if they have holding power. But what about those that daily, they don't even have enough to fend for themselves daily. So they have lost their jobs. Uh, Cryptocurrency and blockchain is a new industry, and this is a new sunrise industry. I believe that this industry is just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger anyway. I mean, so many large companies, enterprises, and so on have started to want to pick up the tech. So obviously, they should be learning skills that are pertaining to this space if they want to look for jobs. So yeah, and they should be testing out like smart contracts, learning how to play with the smart contracts, learning how to do a bit of coding here and there. And this is a new world already. I don't think the world will be the same after COVID. So it will be a post-COVID situation. Whether or not we would the human race would be wiped out, or whether or not the human race can survive even economically, is actually based on all of us working together actually.
No, no. I want to know more. Like example, you are actually serial entrepreneur. You do different kind of tech and science and technology related business. So I want to know like what's your stem cells and this kind of projects going on, and yes, how it works and what's the situation.
Oh, okay. So, when it comes to our stem cell center, right? We are looking to commercialize it, looking to make it become a medicine, so that people can actually inject it themselves, just like how they inject insulin. And actually what stem cell does is it actually rejuvenates or actually fixes some of the problems that are going on in the body. There are like things like cancer, things like aging and so on, because actually stem cells have the capability to replace or to repair like what's going on, you see. And I believe that this tech is not just for the rich. There are quite a few companies that have done such research, but they only use the stem cell infusion for rich people. We want to make sure that like at least even the middle class people have access to this tech itself. Yeah. So this is also one of the companies that we are engaged in. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
Eh, Actually, this COVID-19 situation, some of the entrepreneurs and other people, they say this is golden opportunity for entrepreneurs. What do you think? Is it
it is.
correct or yeah? Okay.
Oh, definitely. Like, I mean, people need to start innovating in this situation. Like, even traditional companies need to figure out how they are going to carry on, or let their staff carry on work, right? Like, many of them cannot go to the office like that, and most of the people need to like work from home. And yeah, so it's a new time. Everybody needs to learn how to adapt and how to change. And companies that don't do that would definitely not survive. I mean, so many companies in the world have already gone bankrupt. So many small, medium enterprises are gone. Like, yeah, like we see like restaurants gone, restaurant chains gone. We see shopping, like retail shopping places, they're gone. We even see like big companies, like clothing lines that have been there for like maybe say 10 years, but yeah, because of COVID, shut down. Everything is shut down. Yeah, so when it comes to this, right, the biggest thing that people need to understand is this is the start of a purely digital world. Yeah, the best way to describe post COVID would be, um, most things will be digitalized one way or another, because human contact is considered something that to be reduced as much as possible. So what's next? You definitely need to digitalize, right? So money is being digitalized. Assets could be digitalized, like property and so on. Contracts can be digitalized. We even have collectibles and so on that can be digitalized actually. So I believe that this new world is a digital world. Yeah, like me myself, I've written a book on that. It's a very short book, and yeah, so it talks about how the new world is like potentially after this potential Armageddon. Yep.
Yes, yes. No, no, this is actually true. But like, what the preparation of the young community, youth generation? Because we are coming from different educational background and other things. Even recent years, the entrepreneurs and everybody start to saying that education is not working for entrepreneurial
Of
journey.
course.
Education is not a helpful for entrepreneurial journey. So, what the solutions you have? What you think? How do
Yep.
you think these things? Yeah.
Okay, it's true that I've been through an education system. I went to there are only two universities. Well, now there are three. There are only three universities in Singapore, and I went to the best one, called NUS. But even then, right, when I was in university, education didn't help me. But of course, it's also due to my nature. Most of the time, I'm not in the classes anyway. I didn't really bother. What I actually bothered was about networking, knowing people, learning my own skills actually. Yeah, and figuring out what works for me myself. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to work for people. I want to work with people, but not for people. I rather be my own boss, be my own like head, or executive team, or run businesses together with others. But it's not something that I can manage to do, or to work under people. So like for young people, I think that the best thing that they should be figuring out is this: there are so much information on different industries right now. It is not like last time, if you want to find out something, you need to go and find from a book. Like you need to go to a library, go and search. Nowadays, right, you just go to any web browser, type it out, and massive amount of information comes out. Videos come out, people talking, experts, and so on. So all this information is out there. So to the younger people, they are trying to figure out, right, education does nothing to you. In fact, most of the time, what education does is it actually conditions you to think in a certain way, which is not helpful. It doesn't open up your mind. Education and learning is two different things. When we are getting education, it feels like we are getting like we are being manipulated, we are being controlled, we are being conditioned to become a slave or stuff. But when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur, right, it's about consistent learning, not to be educated. Yeah, it's about learning new things. And sadly, you say being an entrepreneur is disgustingly tough. So the amount of willpower that's needed, or even like days where suddenly you feel that, or even you look at your bank account, you'll be like, oh my god, like I have like $30 left in the bank. This is the life of an entrepreneur. Actually, it's not a good life. It's not an easy life, and at the end of the journey, you might not even succeed. But even then, I would say that just carry on doing it. Because if you're not working for somebody is working for you. It's your choice which one you want to be. Yeah.
No, this is also a questionable thing because let's say from the job we actually learn discipline. We have to learn how to care about organizations, how to make a very good relationship with the customers and the colleagues and everything, and we grow our leadership skills. What do you think? Like, if everybody want to be entrepreneurs, and there is a very few people, they do not want to work for each other, then how do the system will survive?
Yeah,
We
but
also need employee, right?
yeah, so that's the interesting thing. You see, most of the people will not want to be an entrepreneur. They are happy with the way they are. There's nothing wrong with that. They are happy being an executive. They are happy with working for companies and so on, and that's a good thing. Most of them are like that. Usually, those who want to be entrepreneurs, or those who carry on becoming, or carry on being an entrepreneur, right, for years and years to come, they keep failing and failing and failing and failing. Those are the ones that have the heart to be. If not, most of the people would try. Maybe they try a bit here and there. Then after that, they fall off. That's it. They go back to becoming employee. So, which is why I say, there's no such thing as having too many entrepreneurs, but there is such a thing as of having too little, because it is the entrepreneurs that finally creates good value in an exponential value in a country, because
Okay.
executives are meant to maintain, not meant to create. Yeah.
Yes. Another specific things I want to know, like, let's say, like, many startup actually growing around the world, even it's from Singapore to like Cyberjet to Silicon Valley, everywhere, lot of startup actually growing and entrepreneurial journey started, but many startup actually fail. And I think 90% startup actually cannot get ultimately the objective and other things. So what's your observation? Why it fails? And another things like, as you are a serial entrepreneurs, what your suggestion for the companies, especially in COVID-19 period, they are struggling a lot. So what your advice for them that how they can survive or how they can fulfill their organizational financial need or how they can handle their ecosystem?
Okay, I think the biggest fundamental about companies failing is because they don't understand their clients' needs. So either they don't create a niche sort of like they haven't figured out their niche business that they are supposed to be in, or they decided to do something that other people are doing. And especially if people have been doing that for like many years, right? And then after that, you want to go in and start to do what these businesses could do is to cut you out of the ecosystem because they're bigger. Yeah, and you as a new startup, you just go in and hey, hi everyone, I'm a new startup. Yeah, can we work together and so on? What do you think are the chances, man?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not gonna be high because you just show yourself out as a competitor. So I think what entrepreneurs also need to understand is they can't do things alone. Usually, it cannot be a one-man show. You at least need to have a small team, and then you would need to work with different sort of expertise. Like you might need to work with larger entities itself that have already been in the field. You cannot say that we're gonna directly compete. You might need to work with people, or even outsource certain parts of the company because you do not have enough manpower and such. You know, right? Because you can't do everything on your own. It doesn't make sense. For example, I know of many startups, they want to be a tech startup, but nobody in the company knows how to build tech. And then I don't think they should try. Or unless they know exactly what they want and they get they outsource and get like an app developer, a blockchain developer and so on to build something for them. But even then there will be a certain level of cost, you see, right, for somebody build it for you. This is something to take note. And another thing to take note would be most companies, even if they receive funding, they burn through the funding or even their own seed funds and so on. Yeah, they burn through it like there's no tomorrow. It doesn't make sense. Instead of generating revenue, solely generating revenue, they decide to rush through and rush for growth. So that I feel is a very dangerous strategy.
Even I saw not only like different nations, their government actually using billions of dollars for startup and other things, but they do
Mhm.
not get good result. What do you think? It is the problem that they do not have good venture capital or mentors, or what the problems they have? What do you think?
Okay, so you see, like firstly, we talk about government giving the startups funds. Whether or not the funds actually reach the startup is one major question, actually. So that's the first thing: corruption within the different layers of the government. They say that they are giving out funds, but which are the startups they give funds to? It could also be startups in which are created by their friends, by their relatives, or even they themselves being a partner inside the startup. Now, so that's the first part. And the second part that we talk about all this funding is this: startups don't just need funding, actually they need connections, they need clients, they need mentors, and most of the startup founders are actually like their brains are all the way in the air. They are just building sandcastles in the air, like castles in the air, man. Why they think that, or even worse, most of them are deluded. They actually believe that the customer the customer should be using their product. But is that the way it's supposed to be going, or is the correct way to make a product that the customers really want? Another problem would be, especially in terms of tech, they want to build a product that's perfect, then they push it out into market. By the time you perfect with a small team. By the time you perfect your tech and push it out onto the market, right, other competitors have already come out. So my biggest pointer to especially the entrepreneurs would be that you know don't wait to put your tech out onto the market. When it's around 50% to 60% done, push it out to market first and figure out what the market want and need. Because you don't even know whether or not, you know, the product that you produce, right? Or the service that you produce might be something that people even want. Yeah, and people don't want it or don't need it. Why would they become your client? Yeah.
Yes.
And of course,
Okay.
timing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. This is very interesting discussion because beside that, like let's say the financial industry, it also has a lot of system error, and you also trying to push blockchain technologies, and like it's also step by step improving. So my point of view is that what do you think what will happen next few years, like this blockchain technology and this kind of technology, they will overtake this from this financial situation organizations, or how what will be the scenario for next few years?
Okay, I believe that the financial institutions will definitely start using blockchain. How they will use it, it could be based on smart contracts where they build different products, different financial products on the blockchain itself. They will use it have as means of cross-border transactions. They will create wallets. They will use it as payment systems. Yeah, because blockchains are generally good for these stuff. They might even use it to like tokenize or represent equity or certain assets itself. So I believe that there will be a rampant increase of use of blockchain around the world, and I also believe that the blockchain industry will grow to will actually grow to be like maybe say hopefully it grows to half $1 trillion to $500 billion an industry itself, which also means that the room for growth for this industry is huge. Yeah, because this is a tech in which I mean just like when the internet first came out, you see most companies don't know how to use it properly, right? When the
Yeah.
internet first came out, but then when the browser came out, people start figuring out that, oh yeah, we now can make sense of this tech. So blockchain is exactly at this timing right now that people are trying to figure out what are the better uses of it, how do we integrate it into our system, and if we messed up, what are the repercussions? They are still learning. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, blockchain technology and other things will be improved, and many things will happening, and many things will. But at present situation, we also see a lot of for international business. There are many challenges. Even let's say USA, China has business wise they have challenge. China, USA, like China, India has some tensions. Many things happening. But in that situation, how actually this tech industry, science and technology industry, how they play, how it will work, how it will move.
So like different countries are looking to block the tech of different countries. For example, you see China used to block tech from USA and other countries, you know, like the Great Firewall of China. Many of the apps that are overseas cannot even be used in China. And China then make their own version of the same sort of apps to be used in China themselves. Now that's number one. So when they start censoring such tech, I think they don't understand that, you know, sooner or later the other countries can also censor their tech too. Now, I mean, they started a war that they would definitely lose, because when you start censoring stuff, other people will start censoring you too. And it doesn't make sense. It's not good for anyone, because then there's no free market in this system. Now, when it comes to blockchain, right? It's blockchain is a tech that can be inclusive. However, it's a tech that can also be used in the opposite way. Can use it to exclude other people. And even worse, because it's an immutable ledger for most of the case, all the information is actually recorded, and you can't delete the information just like that. And that makes it an awesome system for countries to actually use to control or even to keep check on the population. So every tech has the potential to become a weapon.
Yes, yes. Okay, like Singapore is a very beautiful hub for technology and the advanced life and other things. But what your advice, especially for developing nations, because country like India, country like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, how their young community, how their government, how their corporations can adapt this kind of technology, and they can also can develop this kind of technology. What's your advice?
Okay, so what happens is the problem is most of the people don't even know who are the experts in the field, who have developed such tech before and so on. So there's a lot of charlatans out there that claim that they have done this, they have done that, and there's no track record actually. And of course, I told you they would have used some white labels and show people that, hey, this is what I've built and so on. Yeah. So what's going on in all these countries is that people don't know who are the experts and who to follow. Yeah, and then they get developers that finally at the end doesn't produce a good product, or produce a defective product, a product that's easily hacked, easily penetrated and such. So like for developing countries, they will be good for them to partner with countries that already know the tech and learn from them. And there are like what I say, there are many courses and many videos out there, or many bits of information, or even books that they can download to figure out how to maneuver and how to work, or how to build, or how to create such tech. So like say for example, Africa is an interesting nation, although it's a developing nation, developing like continent and so on. But there are tech developers over there that are extremely smart. These are all self-taught developers, actually, and coders. So it is about whether or not they want to open up and figure out how to create such tech themselves, or to work with people. Simple interns. Like email a company and say that I'll work for free, I want to intern, I want to learn what's going on. It's not tough.
My specific thing is that, like, there are too many things happening around the world. When we open social media, these things happening, that thing happening, blockchain, this technology, that technology, too much of things. So how actually a young community, they can be focused, how they can find out their own choice, or what do you think?
Okay, firstly, they need to look at the different fields that they are interested in. Say for example, I used to be extremely interested in science. However, yeah, I even wanted to be a scientist or even astronaut. And weirdly enough, I was given a chance to become. But what is important is that I later on move on in life, and with the experiences that I had, I decided that tech is what I want to do. And then of course I filter out more information and finally decided that blockchain is a space I want to go into. Yeah, but for them, what they can do is they can expose themselves to uh, different fields, things like economy, finance, tech, and so on. And then they see which are the major fields that they are keen on. And choosing those, then they start filtering out parts of these fields that make them tick, or they might have passion about, and then they go and try, they go and test, they go and play with it. It is like this even for a young kid. uh, I believe that although it looks like they might not be interested in musical instruments at first, but as you let them try it, they might like it actually. So it's all about exposure, you see, and it's all about putting themselves out there. So I believe that they need to test it. Say, for example, in the blockchain space, they should come and play around with the most basic stuff, like the wallets, do some transactions, get on exchanges. Then they can try like building, like even creating smart contracts, or or even like coding and testing around in smart contracts. Then they start building, maybe building a DApp itself on a blockchain that they are used to. Yeah, and so on, you see. So that's how one learns more and more and figure out whether or not this is where they should be focusing their efforts on. But what I usually also like to tell people is this: go where the money is, not go where your passion lies. I'm a bit different. I like to tell people that, because the first part of your life, right, if you don't generate enough funds to to support your endeavors and so on, then you're gonna suffer on the later part. So which is why I always tell people, focus on getting the funds first, because there are many things that money will resolve. Yeah. And then after yeah.
Yes, even like example, developing nations, they want to utilize money, and they want to like cope up with the different new things. But example, sometimes they do not have a very good blueprint. They do not have a proper guidelines how they achieve the objective, or they do not have even proper environment. I know every country is different. Let's say Singapore example, even in Pakistan, may not be the same. Definitely it's different. But
Yep.
how we can create better environment? Always many entrepreneurs, they say that environment, there are a lot of challenge. So how we create better environment? Yeah.
Okay, sadly, when it comes to environment, right, generally it should be a nation thing. The country should be responsible. The government should be responsible in helping build an environment. What about the prosperous people there? They should also be the ones to help create a better environment. Successful entrepreneurs can also help to create better environments. Why? Because as you create good environments, right, or as you support such stuff, like, or you create incubators, you create accelerators and so on, when you help these entrepreneurs, you might get some equity in the companies, and as they grow better and better, right, you never know, you might have accidentally incubated a unicorn. Yeah, so at the end of the day, environment should be something in which the government, the rich, the successful start giving back to society in that sense. Because I can't expect a poor person to create an environment that is good for growth. It's not practical, you see. I mean, they can come together and let's do something, but that doesn't mean that the environment is good for entrepreneurship. You see, might just means that they band together because they have no choice. Yeah.
Yes. No. This is very good guideline you are giving in terms of your experience and ecosystems and other things, and you are also serial entrepreneurs and many things. Besides that, I want to know Singapore cultures. I want to know the Singapore's environment and how it works. Yeah.
Singapore environment looks like it's good for entrepreneurs, but actually it's not as. I mean, it's better than like some of the developing countries in the world, but only very few startups are actually funded by the government itself. And most of the funded startups are actually funded because they have some network or some relationships with people in the government. So yeah, don't see it as an awesome, good incubator in that sense, or like supportive. Although they say that there are many grants in the country, but actually from what I'm looking at after so many years, most of these grants are not granted to the startups, or to to any of the startups freely or fairly. So that's the thing.
No. This is very important thing that we have to know about these things. And beside that, my last questions to you: that what is the advice you want to give this startup, these tech companies, and environmental issues and other things? What you want to give advice to the entrepreneur?
I think that most of the entrepreneurs in developing countries should be focusing on tech, because that is the fastest growing. That most tech startups are the fastest growing in all the industries. That's number one, and number two, tech that they should be focusing on would be blockchain, AI. These are the two main tech that they should be focusing on, because these will be the fastest growing industries in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. So, and if they are looking for funding, looking for funding is tough as hell. So instead of looking for funding, they should be focusing on getting some traction, getting some revenue, and then later look for funding. I think most
Yes,
of them just carry on looking for funding. Yeah.
exactly. It's common when you're making money, everybody want to invest on you, right? Like a bank will come, maybe your relatives will come, venture capital will come, everybody come.
Yeah.
This is very common for the business industry.
Yeah. So but most startup creators actually believe that people should be investing in them. Yeah, they actually have a delusion that, oh, I'm awesome, I'm a genius, invest in me. I'm like, but really, you haven't done anything to prove yourself. Yeah.
Yes. No. Definitely. This is very interesting discussions and other things. Beside that, about you are a serial entrepreneur. You have a company in Europe, in Malaysia, and other countries as well. If you want to share something about your company, about your startup, you can share with our audience.
Well, what they can do is, actually they can go on my LinkedIn and go and see what are some of the things that I'm focusing on and what I'm doing. I'm also on Facebook. I share quite a bit of what I'm doing every now and then on Facebook. Yeah. So, but in just in a snapshot, what I'm doing is a payment gateway. I'm running a social media platform. And a cryptocurrency exchange. Currently, also me and my partner in a stem cell research. Yeah, so these are some of our main set of businesses.
Yes, this is very interesting activities you are doing. And World Talent Economy Forum, we also always believe the talent pools, and we also respect the talent people around the world. And we also trying to bring them and bring their history in World Talent Economy Forum. And beside that, we have Asia Research and Development Institute, as well as Al Noor Academy Sarhadia Barhat. We also doing a lot of research and consultings and many interesting activities. So by the World Talent Economy Forum, we want to build up a better ecosystem, a better organizations, and we want to create a more talent pools and very good solution for the global community. So hopefully in the future we will invite you more for our panel discussions, as well as hopefully your organization will grow, and definitely you get more success and more happiness in your life.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif.
Yes,
yeah, have a good night, man.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah,
Take
thank
care.
you. Take care. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.